So today I'm going to show you how I made this social media page where there are three boxes, one for YouTube, one for Twitter, and one for blog. But this is completely customizable. You can do it in any order that you would like. I am doing this in Adobe Illustrator, but you can do this in any vector program that you want. I don't think this will work in Photoshop because of the rounded corners on the rectangles. So let's get started. We're going to make a new file. I'm doing this in an A5 size, so that's 5.8 by 8.3. I got those measurements off of Google, so if they're not quite right, oh well. But I'm pretty sure they are. And this is in inches. CMYK because the RGB is for the web, and CMYK is for printing. So we're going to hit OK, and there's our new file. Make sure that your layers panel is shown. We are going to be using the colors later. And we're going to flip that because we're going to start with the text side. And get your rulers to show because we're going to be using guides as well. One more thing, I am not going to rename my layers. I'm just going to keep them layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, 5, 6 or something. But I will be moving layers around a little bit at the end. Well, not even really at the end, but before the end of this video. So we're going to get started, and first things first is we're going to set some guides, and we're going to zoom in because I'm terrible at math and I needed to see smaller sizes, the names. So we're going to just zoom in till we see the quarter. And what we're going to do is we're going to take one from the left hand side and we're going to put it on the quarter and then put the other one 3/4. Oh, and you want to make sure your guides are unlocked if you're using Illustrator. And so we're going to zoom out. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. So that's what we want for now. So now what we're going to do is we're going over to the type tool. Now, there are two ways you can do this, and I'm going to show you both ways. First one is just using the good old vertical, and we're going to hit enter after each letter. That is one way to do it, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but that way's a little bit time consuming. We're going to go down to the type tool again, but we're going to vertical. And those two guides that we made before, we're going to make our box right in between them. Make sure that the box hits both of these lines. Now what we're going to do is when we type, it automatically goes down to the next level. So the social is set. And now we're going to go back up to selection. We're going to make this, well actually we're not going to make it too much smaller because we're going to resize it to 30. And don't worry, we're going to expand that out. So don't worry about that. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do on this is we're going to switch the text from what was the default to marker felt. We're going to go with wide. Now, this sample was done with LauMN, I believe it's called. But when I originally did the file I did it with marker felt, and then I kind of messed up. And that's why the Wow MN was chosen. But I prefer it with marker felt. Now, I zoomed out a little because we are going to copy and paste. And this is going to copy all the properties about it. And now, but you want to do the same thing. You want to line up the text box in between those two guidelines. And we're going to write media. Don't worry about the color right now because we are going to fix that down the road. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of adjustments. We're just going to move this down a little bit and this down, if it will go down. Oh wait, the reason why is it's not on the arrow. Like that. So I think that's actually pretty good. Move that down a little bit more. You want there to be a gap between the two words, but you don't want it to be a big gap. So we're gonna move our guides and we're gonna delete them. And yeah, that's actually pretty good. So now we're gonna go back to layers and we're gonna lock this. That will make sure that we don't mess it up and stuff like that. Now we're going into layer number 2. First thing is switch your type tool back to the vertical, or horizontal, I should say. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the rounded rectangle tool. But before we make any rectangles, we are going to make some guidelines. So, want to see where the S is. And we're going to put that first one at 8 inch. If it's a little bit off, it's not a big deal. That's just where your boxes are going to, where you should have at least a quarter of your boxes should be above or below. We can even move this up so that the S sits on the guide. You want to make sure that at least the S is that. And we can move this up too. It was just a little bit too down. But don't worry, we're going to fill, this will be pretty full at the bottom, so don't worry. So now we can lock this again, and we can go back to layer 2. Now, swap your fill and your stroke if it's like this. You want to make sure that there's no fill in your rectangles. Now we're going to make our rectangles. If you want to put another guide at where the S is, that's okay. But the beginning of the S, but I don't really need to. Let's go with there for now. So what we're going to do now is we actually don't need this guide. We're going to move this guide down to here because we don't need it anymore at that level. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste. And we're going to see how much of a gap there is. That's actually pretty good. We won't have to change the size of these rectangles, so that's a good sign. That did pretty good there. What I have done in the past is I've made it like too wide, this one, so I've had to delete it and adjust it and stuff like that, but that is actually pretty good. So we don't actually need this guide anymore. We can delete it. And now you can copy and paste the rectangle again, but we're not going to because we really don't need to. And we're going to fill this entire bottom with a different rectangle. I'm going to move this up. Just the only requirement is you just want to make sure that it is fills the entire bottom, or not even the entire, I should say. Make sure that these boxes are covering this one. So we can lock this. And we're going to go to... Actually, we're going to do the color now before we forget, because the rest of it is going to be in black. So let's fill in. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight everything. And we're going to go to the color. I'm going to make this green. Don't worry about the interior boxes right now, because again, we're going to go back and clean that up in a sec. So zoom out so we can see the entire page. I don't want to be too dark because we're dealing with black. I don't want to be too bright either. I think that's good. Okay, yeah, that is good. So we can do that, and we're gonna lock that one for now. So we're gonna do a little bit of movement on this one. Actually, let's undo move. We're gonna hit shift so that it stays. And yeah, I think move that down. Can you move that back up? Yeah, okay. I think this is a good spot. Now we're gonna lock it. That is the last time we're gonna deal with that layer. Now we're gonna unlock this and flip. Actually, we need to flip it back because we forgot to highlight. So we're gonna flip, no fill. And there. And I think we can actually, we're actually gonna put a guide mark on this for right now. Because I want to move it, but I don't want to. I want to make sure that it stays pretty even. And then, again, if your marks are right on point, then you don't have to do this. But my marks were not. So I can actually make it even a little bit wider. And so yeah, I think that is good. Just gonna clear our guides and lock. Alrighty. So that is done. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make titles for each of these boxes. So we're going to make a new layer and going to make a box. Try to get it as centered as possible. And we're going to lower this size to 15. And for now, we're going to put blog. Because we are going to move this around, center it, and we're okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make this, squish this in. And we're going to move this down. You don't need a guide for this one, but you just want to make sure that there's a little bit of white space above your title. So we're gonna, I copied and pasted that. And again, we're gonna make this Instagram. And don't worry, we'll extend that out. Perfect. Okay. And then for down here, we're going to zoom out so that you can see the entire thing. And right down YouTube. And we're not going to do anything to that because there's white space above. That's the only thing about that. You want to make sure there's white space. So we are done with that. And now to what I found to be actually the most difficult part of this project was the lines, because they were a little bit of pain in the butt. And so these are the lines. I'm going to zoom in. This is a JPEG now, so that's why it looks a little pixelated. If you're, but spacing is kind of a problem for me. So they're not well spaced, but I think using the guidelines, they will be. Now, this is very important, and I will show you why after I make the first line. We're going to go back down to layer 1, and we're going to create a layer 4. For the rest of this demo, layer 4 is going to be the only unlocked layer. Sorry for the coughing. And that way, none of the other layers are messed up. So we're going to go over to blog, and I'm going to show you why having this layer in between 1 and 2 is better than having it over 4, or over 3, I should say. While holding down the shift key, you want to go over to the first side, and you want to go bring it all the way over. And that's going to actually keep your line straight. You also want to make sure that the black is shown, and it's not, so we're going to have to, there we go. You want to make sure that the fill is white, and your stroke is, because or actually you don't even need a fill. You want to make sure your stroke is black. Now, that is line number 1. Now, I'm going to just move this layer over here and zoom in. Now, it's not such a problem on, oh, actually, okay, good. As you can see, that the line is kind of covering the edge of the square. By moving it in between layers 1 and 2, it goes behind our rectangle, making it a lot cleaner. So that's the look you're going for. Now, for these two, you can just do it the same way. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, okay? You hit copy, paste. Because it's going to line up perfectly after you do that one. So, if you have the smart guides on, this will be a lot. This will be pretty helpful too. Once you see the intersect line, that's where you want to drop it. But on this one, I'm not 100% lined up, so I gotta fix that by that. I'm not even still having a little bit of problem. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. Now what I can do is, now that I have 2, I can do it multiples. Like that. Sorry for the coughing again. And that. And keep doing that, and so on and so on. So here's 4. And 4. 8 and 8. Stuff like that. But I'm just gonna continue with the 4. Because I think 4 is better than dealing with 8. And again, this is completely customizable. You don't have to do lines all the way down like I'm going to. You can leave space at the bottom. And I am gonna sorry for the coughing. I am gonna leave a little bit of a space. And you can write, like, draw stuff there or whatever. I think this is gonna be the last set of 4. 4. That one. So I left a little bit of space down here. It's not a lot. But oh shoot, I closed the sample. Well, that's okay. You could draw on the sample. There's not a lot of space left. Now, this big thing. You can copy and paste your lines, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. And instead, I'm gonna make a longer line. So, sure that's set up. And I created a guideline at 5. I'm gonna do the same thing though. We're gonna bring it all the way over. And I apologize for this coughing. Bring the actually we can bring that down and plot our line. So we can delete the guide. And if you want to keep the guideline up, you can. I'm not going to for purposes of this demo. Do one more and then I'll start doing the 4. So I'm just gonna check, make sure that all look clean, and they do. So we're gonna bring this in. Point that down. The reason why I didn't want to enlarge those lines is that the lines could get a little distorted. So I wanted to do a different line for the larger box. So that's why I did that. And for this one, I'm not going to leave as much white space at the bottom. Okay, I think I put in, oops, 2 more. There we go, yeah. I'm gonna delete that one. Copy, paste one, actually, because I think one's, now I'm looking at, there we go. So we're gonna zoom out, and lock, because I want to, and let's see, do we want to move? Yeah, we're gonna unlock layer 1 for a minute, because I want to move this a little bit closer to the edge. Up, up, up. Just make sure that your title is not cut off when you are printing it out. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this demo, and I hope this was helpful for you. Again, this is completely customizable to whatever you want to use it for, and I hope you enjoy making them. I will have another video coming up very soon. Talk to you later. Bye.